So you're getting the sense of this vibrational mix that is you. You have desires and you have beliefs and you have things that you really like and things that you don't like. And depending upon what you're focused upon or what you've been recently focusing upon, you've got this mix of vibration. So you've got this point of attraction going on, this point of letting it in going on. What's really interesting, this point of attraction, we would like you to see it as you're saying, come but don't come. Come to me this thing I want, but I'm not going to let you in. Come to me this thing I want, but I'm not going to let you in. That's the potential mix. Come, don't come. Come, don't come. I want it, but. I want it, but. I want it, but. I want it, but. So you've got this mix of vibration going on. And on some subjects, you're more allowing of what you want. And on some subjects, you're more resistant. It just depends upon what the mix of vibration or the mix of beliefs is about whatever it is that you've been thinking about. So now take all of that. We felt you get that. And now take yourself to a meeting place with others and ask yourself, just for the sake of this important clarification, what am I bringing to the table? Because that's all that really matters. Law of attraction has brought you together because you are all similar in vibrational nature. Let's say your average of vibrations is similar. Here's an important thing. You know how we say step 1 is ask and step 2 is it is given, it is answered, and step 3 is you've got to be in the receiving mode. And then step 4 is having practiced step 3 so well that you are steadily there. That's like mastery of step 3. Funny that step 4 is the mastery of step 3, but it is. You're really, 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 really good at it. And then step 5 is you're so good at it that even when you slip back into step 1, which is inevitable because you're constantly expanding, that's the never get it done part that we were talking about. You're now not mad at yourself for being back in step 1. In fact, you are praising the contrast and even the negative emotion because it's necessary to the continual expansion. So here you are, you've come to this party, you've come to this table, you've come to this rendezvous with others, and the question that you want to ask yourself is, what am I bringing to the mix? Because that's the only thing that you have control over. Now, it is certain that whatever's there, you've attracted. But sometimes, you know how we've been telling you the story for a long time that sometimes when someone makes their transition into non-physical, and you're still in your physical body, and you're missing them and you're wanting them and you want to hear from them and you want to know how they are, but you're blocking it. I want to know, but I'm not allowing myself to. I want to know, but you're looking for love in all the wrong places. You're looking for them as they physically were, and now they're not still physical. So you're looking for the characteristics that were them, even though many of those characteristics that were them aren't them now because they're no longer ornery or they're no longer afraid or they're no longer whatever. And so how a bird will come and bring you a message. And we've said to you that the birds make great messengers because there are so many of them around and because they're always in the receiving mode. And so Source can offer an impulse to a bird and the bird receives the impulse and just brings it right to you. Just brings it right to you and just tweets it right to you. Just tweets it right to you. And sometimes you get that. Sometimes it is such a meaningful rendezvous with such a weird little bird in such a weird situation that you know for sure someone sent that bird to tell you something. You say, I don't get what you're saying, but I'm glad you're here. So often when you have mastered that step 3 so that you are in step 4 and you're feeling good and you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and there's joy in your heart mostly, very often you receive an impulse from Source so that you get to be the step 2 part of somebody else's equation. So giving and receiving all sort of roll in one. In other words, you're in the receptive mode, you're receiving so much that it's just flowing to you and through you and to you and through you and to you and through you. So when you rendezvous with someone, it might be because there's something at that party that you're looking for, and it might be because there's something at their party that they're looking for. And usually it's some of all of that. You're giving and receiving to each other. That's when law of attraction is working at its best, you see. But the only thing that you have any control over is what is your mix when you get there. And if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would do our best to make sure that we are in the receiving mode as much as possible, for our own benefit as much as possible, but especially when you're coming together with others, which means if you've meditated and quieted your mind and stopped all resistance and allowed yourself to tune to that frequency, that's a very powerful tool for being in the receiving mode. And when you are in the receiving mode, then 2 things happen regardless of what the mix is that you rendezvous with. The first thing that happens is if you're really in the receiving mode, is you're not bothered by wherever they are. Wherever they are doesn't threaten you. It doesn't annoy you. It might even amuse you. But if you're really in the receptive mode, then sometimes you get to play the step 2 role in their experience, and it's very satisfying. The other thing that often happens is that because you're so tuned in, you're just having a joyful experience anyway. It's like having really good shock absorbers. And often you receive some of your best ideas or some of your best insights. That's what happens in a gathering like this. Esther is completely in the receiving mode. So you're doing step 1, we're doing step 2, and Esther's doing step 3. That's what's going on here. And so what a satisfying experience it is, and what a nice mix it is, you see. The thing that you want to say about any rendezvous is, it is what it is. Stop trying to make the now place where you're standing be something other than what it is. It is what it is, and it's okay. And why is what is okay? Because it is. You can't do anything about it. It's got to be okay. You've got to let it be okay, because if it's anything less than okay, now you're dissatisfied. If you could whittle all of these emotions that we've given you along this emotional scale, whittle them down to just 2, because from where you stand, let's say you're disappointed and you want to be elated. Well, that's too much of a vibrational jump to make all at once, but you could feel a little better if you will try to interpret your emotions as I'm satisfied or I'm not satisfied. It will be an easier thing for you. Reach for the best satisfaction that you can find.